Get you.
Robbie!
You got mapping?
Oh, there, we're back on. Back live. I'm going to just say some letters like I'm a radio station. We are now going to hear from leadership that has come from the territory they call British Columbia. Chief Judy Wilson. She is Secwepemc, and she is has been working very hard. She does sit on some national boards and committees, so she's been voicing her concerns, and she's here today, and she's been a huge part of leadership and helping us, assisting us as technicians in giving us the guidance that we need to use in order to understand these bills and in order to assist our leadership and in order to assist our people. So please, this is her welcome to Treaty 6 territory. So let's hear it for Chief Judy Wilson.
Honored to be on the lands of your sacred treaty, and your Cookbees, your chiefs that came up to speak, and all of your ancestors that walked this land, and all of your ancestors that stood proud and stood and held the sacred treaty of your people, because it came right from the Creator. And also in BC, when Canada divided up how they were going to deal with our land rights through legislation and policy, through the comprehensive claims and the inherent right to self-government, and most infamously the White Paper of 1969. They divided those policies up to divide our people up, and it's working. Many of our nations in BC are going through modern treaty processes, and then some of them are going through the self-government processes. And in our nation, we're split between half going through modern treaty and the other half going through incremental treaty. So our people are here. If I could have our Secwepemc delegation raise their hands, make some noise, please. Our Secwepemc people are joining you because we believe in our inherent land rights, our inherent title and rights for our people. We never gave them up to Canada. We have our hereditary chiefs here, our descendants. We also have our pipe carriers here, and they remind us every day we didn't give up anything to Canada, and we're not willing to domesticate our inherent title and rights under their federal policies or provincial policies. There's nothing in these policies that say it's co-development. Co-development means that we're sitting right there. Our leaders, our hereditary people, our pipe carriers are right there. We're not right there at the table. Everything's been done behind closed doors. They roll out the information. If lucky, we get any information. I know a lot of our chiefs haven't been getting information. I'm on committees, I don't get information. We're at different places, we don't get that information. And is that co-development? And also they talk about reconciliation. Valentine's last year, there were some flowery words about the Indigenous people are the most important relationship to Canada. Do you feel that way? No! So reconciliation, co-development, that means meaningless without the proper actions of engaging our proper title holders, our nations. Our nations and our people are the most important thing. That little baby, the 9-month-old, his name is Dion Leon from Secwepemc, from Splatseen. Jody Leon, the grandmother, brought him here, and he was in his first pipe ceremony this morning. That's the way we teach our people. We give them the inherent teachings and laws the Creator gave us because we know they'll walk the right path. They will not walk on a co-opted path of federal government, which is a co-opted path to termination, a co-opted path to extinguishment, a co-opted path to domestication here in Canada. Our people are sovereign people. Our people were here, the original people of this land. We had our governance, we had our laws, we had the teachings, We have the original place in this land, and we cannot be under any other federal government or provincial government, because we have our instructions from Creator, and our instructions from Creator say to protect that sacred land, protect that sacred water, protect our way of life. Because what's happening right now with the Trans Mountain Pipeline, what's happening now with the mining, what's happening now with the tar sands, they're destroying Mother Earth. And that's the path they're on. That's the path of termination of Mother Earth. That's the termination path of our people. We don't want to be on it. The United Nations Declaration and the America's Declaration provide us some minimum human rights standards. Canada isn't even following free, prior, informed consent on any of this legislation. There was 11 legislations last year, unprecedented, impacting our people. They're all spread out in every kind of legislation you could think of. And that's an accelerated path that the government wanted us on, because they want to move ahead their agenda. We have to be able to say no. Not without our proper title holders, our nations, and our people. I'm so glad that people are here, because that's the path we want to be on. I asked a lot of our leadership, I said, we can't have our people and our elders walking by themselves. We have to be able to support our people. That's our roles as chiefs and as cookbees. We need to walk with our people, because the ancestors are still walking with us, and we have to be able to pave that way for the younger generation coming up. And I'd like to say, when we first started hearing about all of these things, we had to piecemeal everything together. And it was really hard, because, you know, we're over at the United Nations in Geneva a few years ago. We were starting to hear about this, you know, reconciliation, you know, implementation of rights framework. That reconciliation framework is still being played out today, but it's got a new name, New Federal Rights-Based Policy. How many people really know about that? Yeah, that's what I thought, because the information isn't filtering through, it isn't getting down. That's the policy. They want to repeal the comprehensive claims. They want to repeal the inherent right to self-government policy by June. That's all unilateral. That's not co-development. And they want to replace it with that new federal rights-based policy. And I'm reminded, you know, of our leaders that, you know, had to step up in 1969. You know, they had to be able to mobilize all the way across Canada. Who's ready to do that today? We got to do that by June, before the last House sitting. And ironically, it's on Indigenous Day, June 21st. So that's going to be our everyday, right till June 21st. Sacred fires, sacred pipes are being lit on the first day of every month, no matter where you are. Even if it's lighting up the smoke, I guess, or light up your pipes, light up your sacred fire, first day of every month, to be able to pray for our people that are going to be walking this path. It's going to be holding our line up there, saying, you know, hey, we got to be able to get in front of this, just like our ancestors and our leaders did in 1969, because it's white paper 2.0 now. That's what some of our grand chiefs and our chiefs are saying. We have to be able to muster every strength in our body, everything in our mind. We have to be focused. We have to be able to explain this to our relatives, our brothers and our sisters, why we need to mobilize so quickly to June. Because it's going to take everything we can muster. Because unfortunately, the difference today from 1969 is not all of our leadership are walking with us. We have to tell our leadership, you need to walk with our people on this. You need to say no. We need to be able to say we got to have these talks first. And some of our nations made up their minds already with the treaty nations, or the international treaties already know. But some of the other nations have to be able to say no to this domestication of these policies. And I'd like to be able to say we're going to have a good fight here, a good walk together, right to June 21st, and we do it through ceremony, we do it with our people, we do it with our elders. I have here the elder statement here. They worked really hard on it. We need to support that elder statement. They want to go in to be able to say it here to the meeting here. And I'm hoping that's going to be allowed, because that leadership needs to hear the elder statement. If they can't come outside here to listen to what our people are saying, the elders need to be able to go in. I don't know how many are going to be able to go in, but we need to be able to stand them up and say, this statement from our elders are very important. They poured a lot of their wisdom, their knowledge, their love, their understandings, everything into this document. And this is going to guide us right to June 21st. So I want to appreciate and thank all of our elders that stood up and put their heartfelt thoughts into this statement, because the statement's going to be very important, because it's talking about our original laws, our natural laws from our Creator, and that's what we're upholding, and our ancestors are knowledge carriers for that. And all the youth, you're here, you're going to be able to, you're the big voice of our nation, youth. You need to exercise that big voice, youth, across Canada. The youth are the biggest populations today. We need our youth more than ever. So if you're out there, youth, grab some of the elders or the leaders, talk about what the importance of this key message is. And you youth, you take that across Canada. The youth, you take that internationally. Because when I was at the UN, at the Indigenous Peoples Forum, there was a lot of youth that made some very clear, articulated, powerful speeches at the United Nations. And I encourage all of our youth to continue to do that. Our youth are the big voice. Our youth are the nation's voices, because we need to get that message out there, and I encourage every single one of the youth to continue to do that. Cook's Chairman, thank you. Thank you all. Let's continue to make some noise. Let's continue to have our meetings. Let's continue this important work. Thank